Holly here. I wanted to share a little tiny piece of a podcast interview I was so graciously invited to appear on. And this podcast is 2 inches off the ground with Jay. And in this little teeny tiny snippet, I am sharing or basically resharing a story about a client that in her QHHT session, she regressed to an inanimate object, life as a bowl. Now, I've shared her actual snippet, and I'll put a link to it up here. So she was so gracious. The actual client was so gracious to share this very interesting life. And as I'm sharing with Jay on the podcast, 2 inches off the ground, understanding life as an inanimate object is kind of just a regular day at the office in QHHT. So listen in as Jay and I talk about life as inanimate objects. Thank you for listening.
So I want to talk about, I found this really funny. First of all, you have a large following on YouTube, so everyone should check out your videos. And I love your videos that explain advanced metaphysical concepts, and especially the case studies. Very similar, you guys, to Dolores Cannon. If you're into Dolores Cannon, you'll be into Holly. Same type of thing. That's correct to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's accurate, right. And so these case studies really align in your book. And I love this one case study in particular about the bowl. And I'm saying B-O-W-L, an actual bowl, like a utensil, like a thing that you eat from. So please tell us about the bowl.
Yeah. So this was a person's other life. So let's explain that for a split second. I'm a past life regressionist that doesn't believe in past lives. And the reason I say that is we know that there's no such thing as time. Time is an illusion. Time is a three-dimensional construct that human beings get to experience. It isn't truth. And so how can a life be past? All lives are now. Okay, so they're all simultaneous lives, all lives that your soul is incarnated in, which for most people is thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions, not 2 or 3. That's all happening in the now. And then when we think about the fact that at a soul level, we're all one, we're all connected, we're all parts of the same thing, parts of aspects of source. And so then how can I have my past life? And so getting hung up on, well, I had a past life in Egypt, it's like, okay, your soul is having an experience in Egypt in the now and as a part of the all of us. And so, yes. So getting like our hooks into this story of this other life is not particularly helpful. So the particular session segment that I shared, I do get my clients permission to share little snippets of their session on occasion. Of course, these are very private and sacred moments, so it's pretty rare that I get to share them. But this one was so crazy that the client let me share it. And her other life experience that we went to in her QHHT session was as a bowl. Yes, a vessel, a container. Actually, it was a container of water. And it appeared to be in some sort of like ancient times, maybe a native or a tribal kind of setting, because the bowl was aware of the woman that was using her and could describe the woman and describe the situation in which she was being used. And so this inanimate object, this seemingly inanimate object, was having a life. And that's not the only time that I've had that experience. I've had sessions regress into lives as rocks, as trees, as mountains, as stars, as planets. The craziest one I've ever heard about, and this wasn't one of my sessions, this was a fellow practitioner's session, was as a stereo speaker. So mechanical objects have lives, have consciousness associated with them. Now, I'm not saying that every bowl has consciousness. I don't know that. But I do know that bowls can have consciousness. Absolutely.
I've heard a lot of people having the quote unquote past life or just other life as a rock. I've heard that a lot. I've heard the rock thing a lot. And I've always had an affinity for inanimate objects. I always think they're alive, and I never want to hurt them or scrape them or do anything. And I've been like that since I was a child. So I have a feeling I definitely was a bowl or a rock or a spoon or something.